This episode of Keeping Tabs is sponsored by Dootloot, your go-to vendor for non-English foils, signed and altered cards, reserve list staples, judge promos, and secret layers. Dootloot has cards for every budget, starting at just $5. It's a simple, no-nonsense card feed updated weekly, with monthly giveaways and free tokens in every order. Join the over 6,000 members on Discord and follow on Instagram at DootlootIG.
We're not in Houston anymore. I'm Eric. I'm here joined by Jax and Austin, and tonight we're keeping tabs. We're figuring out cEDH, what's going on with it, and we're going to figure out one by one each tab at a time. But before we jump into some of the meat and potatoes of what we're hoping to spend some time, chitting about, Austin, we've got some stuff we need to talk about. Lay it on me. What have we got to talk about?
Yeah. So we have a few things that we just want to shout out before we actually get into some of these tabs. And the first thing is the Siege. This is the event that Critical, EDH, and Basics are hosting with our local game store, Level 7. It's up in Thornton, so a little bit North Denver metro area. It's in a castle, which I'm super stoked. But yeah, I'm super stoked. It's like it's the second to last big event before points are totaled for Top Deck Invitational this year. But yeah, it should be a good time. I'm stoked to see everyone out there.
Yeah, I'm super excited. If you've been thinking, like, oh man, those guys are always talking about Colorado cEDH. Whenever anyone talks about Colorado, all they talk about is cEDH. I got to get out there and play sometime. This is your tournament. Get the plane ticket, rent the car, hop in our Discord, find someone that you can couch surf with. If you've been coming to kind of get a taste of, like, Colorado cEDH, this is the tournament.
Yeah. Also, like, I will say that if you're, like, staying in downtown Denver, like, you can just catch a light rail up, and it's not super close to the venue, but I'm sure that people will be, like, taxiing back and forth from the light rail station. So
yeah, totally. You can light rail from the airport as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't even need to rent a car realistically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and if two of you guys need a ride, me and Jax can each give you a piggyback ride, and then we'll race for money.
Yeah. I'm taking a Lime scooter. That's the.
Don't counter my spell.
No, but look for a Colorado tournament. This is the tournament to go to, and then our locals the night before should also be wild.
So true. If you're coming to this, make sure you get in like the morning or the afternoon before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we usually always have like tournaments firing on the weekend. We're like so privileged, and so if they're already like silver with the occasional gold, you're gonna be able to hit like 3 platinums in one weekend if you come in on.
Dude, I can't wait for day one to be done, and then go straight to the local on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening, dude. My girlfriend would actually kill me.
We're single, bro. So
yeah,
I'm ready to play 48 hours straight of Magic.
As long as she doesn't counter your Ristic study, Austin, you can get through anything, bro.
That's true. Can I have more cards? But yeah, the next tab that we're going to talk about is the stock up. Eric, you know a little bit more about this than I do, correct?
A little bit. I believe that this is kind of like Everyone is Bad at Magic's first foray into kind of like event hosting. This is happening alongside another like larger convention. And so this is, I think something that's really fun about events like this. Like I remember when me and Logan went kind of like adjacent to the tournament that was at SCG Con, the first time we were like selling playmats and stuff, which was super duper cool. It was just so fun being able to meander around, and there's always like a version of a card that you haven't seen in forever, or sometimes there's artists assigned stuff, and there's definitely some people going to it. But yeah, they've got the email up there, Everyone is Bad at Magic. They've also got a YouTube channel together, and they have some really interesting conversations. It's relatively like long form, and it's just talking to like a bunch of like different people from the cEDH community. I know Yaw was on there, a couple other people, and so I know that like I was chatting with a friend about this, like the Venn diagram of like, people who like listen to, like the Win and In podcast have a really high potential of like also listening to us, have also really high potential of like, listening to like cEDH junkies. Mm-hmm. We'll take wherever we can find it. And so this is one more thing to add to, your morning commute if you already haven't gotten a chance to like check them out.
Yep, and those are the actual only 2 local tournaments that we're talking about right now. The other thing is Tap for Hope up in Portland, which we don't have a tab up for right now, but we will. I think we're almost all gonna be there.
I think so. There's
Jax,
definitely.
Are you going to Tap for Hope?
I'm 50-50 right now.
Okay, Because I know that it's really close to the D grade event, and so like people are kind of having to choose to go to either one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on going to Portland because I know Eric's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to Portland, and I'm definitely going to just jam D grid. But because those are so close to each other, that means that like the month before and the month after, I'm like.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the Boil, which is going to be in Louisiana in 3 weeks. Which I won a ticket for at the Redemption event, which was gas.
Oh, no
like,
way.
yeah.
Oh, okay, good shit, dude.
Yeah, I top boarded with Helga, which we'll get
that means you have to take
later,
Helga to the
but...
Boil. It's so crazy. I remember first getting into cEDH, and I'd be like, oh, Orvar's like a cool deck, and then I'd Google YouTube. Magic the Gathering, Orvar, Commander. And then you come up with like these random like tournament reports and stuff like that. And the Boil, very similar to like Cowtown, was one of those just like names where it's like there only used to be, you guys can see my cat's flying in the background. There used to only be so many cEDH tournaments. And so it's really fun to have like made new friends doing like new things, like taking Helga to top 4 in a Redemption event, being able to go to like these tournaments that have been around like way longer than I've been in cEDH. It's this kind of like old meets new for me in terms of like my relationship with like the cEDH community. So that's so exciting. I hope you take the whole thing down. I definitely hope you take the Helga there. You got it.
It's not happening. No, I'll take Helga to Redemption again.
Bro,
that's what I'll do.
Awesome. You gotta dance with the girl you came with, dude.
No. We'll talk about it later because there's some really good photos of me playing Helga. And I very much enjoy that deck to play. I don't think it's a legitimate tournament deck.
Yeah,
but
you always
Logan
play way
keeps
hard.
staring at me. What's your win percentage with this deck? And I'm like, it's like 38%. I don't know. And he's like, why aren't you playing this deck? And I'm like, I actually don't believe in the deck yet. Like that's really what it comes down to. But
if anything, that's just a good. That's like a good reiteration of that. Like it is possible to like overthink and put too much pressure. Because I feel like you know how you have like vibes based coding. I feel like you're definitely like a vibes based brewer. Of you just like it like the 48 hours before like a tournament, you just like build up all this momentum of like random cards that you're shoving into a list, and your like enthusiasm about like oh my god just like takes you all the way to top cut.
Yeah. You just gotta ride the Gwenum train all the way to top cut. Awesome. But yeah, I'm just stoked to go out to the Boiled. I think there's like 8 or 9 of us come from Denver going out there, but like just going to New Orleans to go play Magic, and we're less than a mile away from the French Quarter, like the tournament is. It was like this is like it's such a bad idea, like, but I'm so down. Like it's gonna be so much fun.
Is the Boil sold out already?
I don't think so. No. The Boil's gonna be fun, dude. You should come.
All right.
I would like to cast this beignet into my mouth.
It's the week after Albuquerque, though. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't think I'm doing. Oh, well, I might do Albuquerque too. I don't know yet. I figure out my schedule.
I know that a few people from Crit are going to Albuquerque. I know Logan or Jason's going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Logan's going. I know that Jordan plans on going, but he also might be going to the Boil. I'm not sure.
I think it's because he's got some travel plans like afterwards. So I think he's trying to get all the cEDH that he can in.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be doing cEDH while traveling as well, which is crazy.
Yeah. We gotta strap like 8 GoPros to him.
Dude, it's gonna be so cool.
If TSA tries to stop you, just tell him that this is a problem for later. That next turn, it's just as counterable.
Yeah. The next thing we wanted to talk about was Joey Boy Alters. So he did the prizing for the February League, and he just kind of started his own thing. Joey Boy is the one that won the Cosmic Crown, or the Breach the Bay tournament.
Oh, no way.
So he's a Tim Nadargo player, and this is the stuff that he's been doing lately. He's been kind of just doing it on the side and having a really good time with it. So this Mystical Tutor, I know that is part of the prizing, the Gamble, and the Vampiric Tutor.
Nice.
And I believe this Enlightened Tutor are all there.
Cool.
But
cool.
Just reach out to him on Instagram. It's at Grave Altars.
Mm-hmm.
But just go support a cEDH like community member that is starting an art business, right?
Yeah.
So
and if you guys are looking at these, you're like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, maybe I'll get one. People who like get altars know that like waitlist for artists fill up so fast.
Oh yeah, it's real.
So if you are 51% interested in like, oh, that's a cool like Vampiric Tutor, and you don't have a 51% win rate in the league, I know I don't. You need reach out to this guy like Now, pause the video. Go check this guy. Go check this person out. Because like, wasn't Jordan just telling us that he's on the wait list for someone, and like they're gonna alter his card in like 6 months or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that was me. I got on the wait. I got on a wait list in November. Actually, even before that, I like got on their wait list, but they only take very specific projects that they are interested in. And so, like, I sent them 10 cards before they said, we're like, oh, yeah, this seems cool. I'll do that. Reach out, like, you're on the list. Reach out to me at the end of March so we can actually, like, discuss payment. And I was like, okay, cool. Sounds great, dude.
Easy.
But they're going to be retro. They're taking the person that I'm getting alters from is Creations by Chaw, and they take modern cards and they switch them to retro framing, and they foil peel them, and then they make the language for Phyrexian. So like,
that's so cool.
I'm down to wait.
I get you. I just got alters in for Endurance and Subtlety. That's Killua and Gon from Hunter x Hunter.
Oh hell yeah.
And there's something they did the thing I love when alters do this. They left a strip at the top so you can still see the card name, and the text for it is still like the text box of like what the cards do is still there.
Oh, so like similar to like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of like full art proxies as well, which I adore and they mean so much to me. But the amount of times I have to pull up the Oracle text for like, I feel so bad for my opponents, like because if someone's like never played against like Kinnan or like Ragsai or Vilethras before, and I'm just like, here, would you like it in, Russian, or do you want it to just completely be covered by acrylic paint? Your choice.
My Dark Ritual and Nas are both completely covered and in foreign, like, so you can like see the name of the card, but you can't read it at all.
No idea what it means, yeah.
But yeah, I really like alters. I'm like, this is a thing I'm getting into, so yeah, I'm a big fan. I like to shout out alter artists.
Yeah.
If you like stuff like this, then go into the art channel of our Discord, because there's people that just like post insane shit there at all times. So yeah, go do that. And then we have our March League.
March
For
League.
Critical EDH, yeah. So this is the March League. I actually don't know how many people are signed up for this. I have been basically, my mind has been mush since we've gotten home from Houston until today. So
yeah, that'll happen with pods like that.
So, but the two partners that we have are Gold Sabertooth, which we will talk about in a second, and Ducky Alters, which they have their, if you want to reach out to Ducky, it is through their Discord or their Instagram or their TikTok, which will all be located on the crit page. Ducky does a lot of really, really cool stuff posted in our art channel once again, and everyone knows what Gold Sabertooth does for our community. So I don't think we need to talk about that too much, right? If you've played a cEDH game, you have probably played on one of his mats.
Yeah, I think via like our logo, his art has already been on like 4 of the 5 tabs we've seen.
We know it. You know it. You love it.
Yeah, you love it.
Well, the logo's there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did this logo right here. Yeah. But yeah, so
yeah, go sign up.
And then this is Gold Sabertooth was just like kind of doodling for like a announcement that he's doing a bunch of like giveaways and stuff like that this month for the March League. So
and I think Gold Sabertooth is like such a great example of like don't join our league, go get stuff from Gold Sabertooth, and then just also get access to our league. Because I know Logan has like a ton of tokens that he's gotten drawn as part of like his Patreon access and stuff. I'm always so jealous whenever I see them.
They're so sick.
And so that's like a great example of like, we so appreciate like your support and people who like want to like help us out and like send money our way. But we're all in this like together, and we have been so grateful for the people who have like partnered in our league, and especially grateful on top of that to like Gold Sabertooth.
Yeah.
So
I also just want to like give a huge shout out to Tim on a personal level. Tim and us like hung out like all weekend in Houston, and the guy just like take cares of dinner, and like it's just a wonderful human being to like be around. Specifically the night on Sunday, we went and got tacos, like me, him, and Logan, and we all brought them to the hotel. And these were some of the best tacos I've ever eaten in my life, dude.
Heck yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so like Tim just takes care of things, and he's a good person to be around. For the most part, if you believe everyone, right?
Yeah. If you want to support Gold Sabertooth and be a part of the Crit League, go show him some love.
Yeah, agreed. So the big topic this week is the mid-season showdown. I was there.
Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah, dude.
Logan and Jason were also there. We're gonna get to their experience in a little bit. Just since they're not on the video, they wrote something realistically.
Mhm.
But I am. It feels so weird because I feel like indifferent about my performance at the midseason because I like got bubbled out, right? So I think I got 18th.
I thought you were 18th or 19th. It was so close.
I got 18th or 19th. Yeah, so I got 19th.
Okay.
And the bubble was 8 points, which is like what I got. And so like I did what I'm supposed to do to like make top cut. And I believe that I like belong with these players, right?
Yeah.
But I still didn't make top cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's such a weird feeling where I'm like I did the things that I'm supposed to do, but like still didn't get there, and like that's a little frustrating. But I also played incredibly well, minus I think one game, which we'll talk about in a second, I'm sure. But yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Honestly, it's just rough when when you bubble out. For those who like haven't played in a cEDH tournament before, or who've only played in a couple, and you're still working on like that early tournament anxiety, so you haven't gotten to like the tournament math side of things, which is so real. We're here for that. We respect that. One of the reasons why either round, traditionally it used to be a round one draw, but these days it's specifically a round one win is like really, really important, is opponent win percentage plays a huge part. Because for those who aren't watching, the tournament record that Austin got extends up into 13th place, and I think you're at the bottom of it with 19th, because I think that I'm one underneath that is that means with Austin's score, like what 2/3 of people with that score made it into the top cut.
It was actually half of us, so.
And the difference is right, like traditionally it's opponent win percentage, which has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with how well your opponents do after they're no longer in a pod with you.
Yeah.
And so I feel like cEDH has a bit of a unique relationship with like variance and randomness, and we're Magic, so we're all gamblers, so there's a little bit of that in there too. I think opponent win percentage is definitely in there with the like it is basically the furthest thing outside of your control when it comes to the impact it has on how you place in tournaments.
Yeah, so regardless of the fact, I had a blast. And I think I played very, very good Magic this whole weekend. But as you can see in this like top 16 breakdown, it is a ton of blue farm.
Yep.
It's so much blue farm.
So much.
Which is crazy. Like we all thought, like everyone's like, oh, Kinnon's better than blue farm now.
Yeah.
Kinnon's better than blue farm. And like this is the tournament that Kinnon should eat blue farm's lunch, right? It just didn't. There was not a single Kinnon in the top 16, which is crazy as well. But yeah, it was just blue farm, blue farm, blue farm, blue farm. Vilethras, which is, we are a firm believer of like that deck on this channel.
I'm a really big believer in that deck. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, the deck's incredible. Like, it's really, really good.
Incredibly good. Like,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I think it fits my playstyle more than Ragsai. I think Ragsai is probably still slightly better, but like I don't know. Like I think it rivals that deck. Like I think
Green has the weirdest influence on turbo decks. Like you can look at a Rakdos deck and a Grixis deck and have relative confidence assuming what part of its DNA is getting altered by the inclusion of another color. Green, I think, is a little bit similar to red in terms of like traditional strength in the color pie in cEDH, where like most of it is like not that great, but the things that are strong are like game breaking. But since Green doesn't really have like an Underworld Breach style card, I think the cEDH meta as a whole is still figuring out what it is that like we want from Green. And I think that like a Vilethras is a great example of like it's really hard to quantify the ways that Green, what pods it's better in than Ragsai, right? What mulligans are better than, like a Turbo Farm kind of stuff.
Its ability to turn 2 Nas, I feel like is higher than Ragsai's. Just because like
that's an interesting concept. I don't know if I agree with that, but
Dork into culling just gets there, right?
Yeah, but like Rog already like it's like land into culling just gets there, right?
Sure. But
yeah,
I think the dork piece I think opens up like enough hands where the turn 2 pushes.
Yeah, agree.
Spell faster, and then like Green to convert to convert Necros is crazy. Like,
Yeah, that's
help
the
respect
thing,
them.
right? People for the longest time relied on green, like the dorks in green, as like the benefit of that color, right? And right now we are in the midst of people really exploring what else can happen with that color. Specifically, Summoner's Pact. Like that card is bonkers in Turbo, right?
Dude,
Like it's bonkers in Turbo.
it's so good. Yeah.
And like Veil is also a huge
So good.
benefit in the deck.
Yeah.
And so like being able to like I have seen this multiple times where Varix is like, all right, I'm gonna hold priority on a few spells here. I'm going to cast Summoner's Pact, hold priority. I'm going to cast Veil, hold priority, cast Offer You Can't Refuse. And you're like, huh? And like it's like just a turbo ritual because you make 2 treasures plus
A spirit guide.
Spirit Guide, and it's just like, oh, this is crazy, right?
Yeah. And you're like, this is okay. What I'm familiar with green doing is either casting Cultivate or Kodama's Reach, and this is neither of those. Right? You just add Nost, and then you just Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, Manamorphose, Born, and I was not ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. And like the other thing is that like even in the deck, it can like do a mid-range pivot relatively well,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so like if you're in that mid-range game, like Summoner's Pacting for a Cabbage Merchant to have a mana engine is just like totally acceptable, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so like I really like the Timna or the Thras Files list. Like I really like that list right now.
which like I think is like one of the best cards in the format. Like,
It just obliterates
have a lot
people.
of decks that has homes in, but like
But yeah, also speaking of like Allan played Timna Thrasios, and I'm pretty sure this is like just a normal, like no bad.
Remastered.
Okay, I say normal. And I see Hermit Druid. Sorry,
Keep looking at the creature package.
Yeah. Let's look at the creature package. Oh, there's a Hermit Druid there, so it's not necessarily a normal. There's also a Horrid Storyteller, which cards bonkers. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah.
There's also Razaketh, which so he's like on Razakats, which is kind of cool, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Lively Dirge is a card that I'm like I think it's underplayed. But yeah, I just shout out for what's it called? Like TNT, right? Like I think it's hold on. I just messed it up really quick.
Yeah, Allan, I think specifically as MTG Basics continues to release matches, Allan was in the top 4. And I think the way that he played that deck in the top 4, I think is it's not an elevator pitch because it's going to watching the video is going to take a while. It's top 4 in a cEDH match. But if you are like, oh, I am interested. Ooh, do I want to play Blue Farm? Do I want to play TNT? Blue Farm, TNT. I think that match highlights the strength of both really, really well.
Yeah.
And then the match, I feel like, was primarily decided by seat order plus pilot skill. I think both the decks did very, very strong things in the traditional way that those decks are strong. Yeah, so... And Allan did all of it without using the spicy or interesting cards that he's on. So you don't even have to play his TNT list to do what that TNT list did. But yeah, shout out to him. That's a really good shout. That's a really good shout out.
But yeah, also local Pigeon did amazing. His top 16, when it gets released, everyone needs to go watch that video because apparently it's the craziest ending of any cEDH game ever happened.
It was wild. I think something that I'm learning, I got to cast this, it was so much fun. I did with Max P. The more I am involved with trying to tell stories connected with cEDH, the more I realize that rhetorically, the way we talk about cEDH and the way we talk about games makes it a lot easier for us to paint villains than to build up heroes. Like things we don't like about people, the decks we don't like. It's because there's, especially like in a tournament like this, there, even despite everyone's like best attempts, it's easy to walk away from pods either with a really negative feeling or with really bad vibes. But that match made me want to root for Pigeon and for Ral as a deck more than I ever thought I would, especially because like I was talking to someone about this. When Ral first popped up on this scene, I was really, really hoping that I could just ignore it and then it would go away. But then like 4 months later, it just got better and better and better. And now I'm like, okay, fine. I'll track down my copies of Witch's Mark. You got me.
But yeah, so like again, if you guys get a chance to go watch that match, there's some other cool decks in here, which we'll talk about actually later. We will definitely talk about Rog Ishai, both doing piloted by Jace and Zach. And then also Magda made top 16, which is crazy because I talked mad shit on it last week. So... But yeah,
something also, I was talking to David, our local Magda pilot. It was really funny talking to him because he's like, this is the wildest Magda list I've ever seen. Like, nothing about this is correct, except the fact
really?
that they made top 16 at the midseason invitational, which implies maybe like they're not on most stacks pieces, like they're not on like dampening spear or things like that that we would traditionally see. They cut a couple of the 1-drop dwarves, which is kind of a big no-no when it comes to a lot of Magda lists.
They kill their own creatures? That blows my mind that they're running Blasphemous Act.
There are...
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sorcery,
I think I gotta hit up Drew from the mod of the Magda Discord, because as far as I can tell, chatting with Magda pilots, this list breaks a lot of like the tried and traditional Magda doesn't or Magda does.
What's the dragon that's running at the top there too? Of the
What's
creatures. At the bottom of the creatures, what was the dragon? It's running like a 6-drop dragon.
That wasn't Balefire Dragon, was it? Realms.
This is just it's the end of their line.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with every Magda card, for instance, the fact that it has bargain means that in a pinch, it lets you get rid of like a stacks piece if like you're stopping someone. Like every single piece of text on this card, down to its power toughness, is relevant for some combo in some situation. Yeah, yeah.
Your sword.
That's something that you can use. It's a tutorable.
Okay.
People are preferring that over the summon Bahamut. Because even though it's less repeatable, it's a good way to like protect Magda. Guild Artisan is fun.
Guild Artisan is fun.
Yeah, that card's great.
But yeah, I mean, so I think really interesting decks. We are going to switch over to this wonderful looking gentleman and this wonderful looking gentleman. But yeah, so Eric, tell us your experience casting the event.
It was so much. This was my first time casting remote, which was definitely a team effort. Which I was not leading the charge on. Like, I got a ton of equipment from Logan. I got the banner from level 7. I went up for one of those Tuesday night Blight Club meetings, and then I was talking to the guy judging it, and I was like, "Can you help me break that down and put it in my car?" And he's like, "Are you supposed to have it?" And I was like, and then it was his birthday, so after he opened packs later, he gave me a bagel and schmear that I'm using as my food token for Cabbage Merchant. So
nice.
All around,
Nice.
A shout out to the way that level 7 is really keeping cEDH on its shoulders. It was so much fun being with Max P. I super appreciate so much of his perspective on the game, as well as Raul and Evan were kind of like the boots on the ground, making sure that everything technologically worked. And then one of the judges was actually the same judge that me and Logan worked with our second day of the Land Go Invitational. And it was really funny because I thought I recognized them as they were like walking back and forth. And then they would, as they were like telling us like what cards were, they made a couple like comments about the players. And I'm like, this is familiar. I think I know this guy. So all in all, it was a really, really positive experience. I'm actually going to be working with them again for Albuquerque. Me and Hire are doing it. No, me and Pigeon are doing it. So
yeah.
it's
Which you're
been fun.
Also casting.
Yeah. No, so they're going down. So huge shout out because it's the as with like a lot of people, when given the opportunity to make like financially sound decisions or purchase foreign foils, I usually make the obvious choice, which means hella strapped for cash. I have a really difficult time making it out to tournaments, and so being able to work with people like Max P or Pigeon or Hire, and to be able to have something like alongside tournament to kind of like engage my mind with the hobby is really, really nice. It was I was so mentally engaged over 2 days of streaming that when we wrapped up at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, I slept. I took a nap immediately after and slept till about like 11 o'clock at night. Got up from my couch, went to bed, and then woke up at 10 o'clock the next day.
Jesus.
But that's like I think that like we're still kind of cracking the code on cEDH like coverage. So I think there's definitely ways where either people who like haven't played cEDH before or who have only played a little bit, I think it can be difficult for them to understand just how much is like going on screen because there's only so much we can talk about.
Yeah.
But for instance, like watching your game, I think it was your second game that you were on stream.
Yeah, it was either
I think
second
so.
or
Yeah,
third.
I spent as much brain power than I did on like any quiz I took, and like because you're trying to think through like everything that's in the list and like what player and pilots like know each other stuff. It was just like a ton of fun. I hope people had fun like watching it. Everyone was pretty civil in the comments. And then if you guys can see, there's a little pink pin. Max P wore his invitational pin from last year. I didn't make it there, but I do have a professional yapper pin that Logan gave me.
So fitting.
It's this one right here.
Glorious.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so cool that you guys were able to do this. First of all, it pains me that I want to keep saying this because I do think it was like a punt because we did find out a safer line later. But like punting on stream kind of feels bad because like I'm playing Chowder at the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I resolve a Necro, I see the line, I full send, like let's go, right? I like crack for 3 blue with my LED and 2 red for a Tinderwall. I was like, this is the cleanest line of all time. And like, don't find Flash Enabler, don't find Final Fortune, don't find anything, right? So like, I have to like stumble together to Tainted Pact a lot, like a Final Fortune or a Flash Enabler. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I understand Chowder. All roads lead to Breach. All roads lead to Breach. All roads lead to Breach. And I'm staring at... So I just tainted... Like, what happens is I have to... Summoner's Pact, offer you can't refuse to make 2 treasures to have black mana so I can Tainted Pact down. And the first card that I find that is what I'm looking for is Final Fortune. And I shouldn't have gone for this. I should have gone for... Like, kept going for Born Upon the Wind. Because the line is just so much easier under Born Upon a Wind. And I also learned that all roads don't lead to Breach when there's a Lumra sitting in next to you.
Yeah. Technically, you got by the same line that the double-sleeved guys did in that game that you, me, and Jordan played with them, if you remember.
Yep, exact same thing.
The one where I got myself by leaving all of my rocks in my Ragsai list, so I was only playing a Lumra deck like 70 cards strong, which means like 55 lands, everything costs 6 mana, and I have no LED, no mana vault, no. But no, that's this was what I was thinking. And Jax, I'd be really curious about your thoughts on this. The details of the game are, for the most part, relatively like Lumra specific. I think that you prepared adequately. I think that if while you're playing Clam Chowder, you're like, okay, obviously there's going to be a blue farm there. I'm not worried about that. Lumra, what is Lumra doing?
Yeah.
I think that you only have so much time in the day. You only have so much that you can prepare for. Going into a tournament like this, I think you have to take the dice roll that there's going to be a couple decks that you don't know how they interact with. And when you're in a game where that's happening, you do the best thing that you can because you only have so much like processing power as like a human being that like, you know, eats, breathes, and sweats. Even if you're doing all that cEDH, you eat cEDH, you know, you sleep cEDH. You've only got so many like electrical neurons that can, you know, fire off. And so you can't cheat experience. You can't fake like having learned something. Like some things you just have to like to learn the hard way. And so while it is unfortunate that it happened on stream while you were in like seat 1, the fact that you're able to look back and automatically think of like, oh, there's like 100 things I'd do differently if I were in that game, to me is an example that like the engine that like you work to craft every cEDH game you play of like how can I get better, how can I improve, is already like applying all the experience and knowledge that you have. And that gap of like I would never do that if I were in that game again is an indication of like the observational analysis you're able to like reverse apply as a player. I don't know, that's how I perceive it as an outsider.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like it I think really what like pains me is that I got by Lumra, which like my teammate created, you know. So what happens, Jack? So I Final Fortune and I go into a Breach line on my next turn.
Yeah.
I put Breach on the stack, and Lumra cracks Urza's Cave and just Pit of Offerings my LED. And so I'm out. And he's like, I'm offering draw because like there's no way we're beating Wayne on Serta at this point. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm out. Like I have to accept it.
Got you good. Yeah.
But if I realistically the line that I should have went with, and this took about 45 minutes of conversation at dinner this night, is I should have kept going, gone for Born Upon a Wind, and then just cast the Thoracle that was in my hand, and then brain freeze myself out down to like 2 cards, because then Lumra has very few options in that slot because they have Gyreach Sanitarium, which was known on board, and I did see it.
Oh, okay.
But I have a Necro with like 3 life, so they have to get rid of my Thoracle and get me down to 0 cards, right? So like it just and realistically, I still think they can do that because they Talon Gates my Thoracle, and then I have to Necro down to 0, and then they kill me with Gyre Sanitarian.
They don't have enough mana on board to activate Urza's Cave and
Gyre Reach.
They only had 4, and that they have 4 if they tap the Urza's Cave.
So like it's just a better line, but like I just didn't see it in time. Realistically,
well, yeah, you're tired. You're looking for an outlet, and you take the first one you get, right? You don't.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like it's a punt, and like it's not a punt. Like
it's a punt next time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
thought process too, right? Of like not just snap keeping the first outlet you see, then right? Like as you're going for it, right? You see the outlet and be like, should I keep going, right? Like how? Because was LED already out of the deck?
LED had been cracked in response to picking up Necro triggers.
Okay, and Freeze still in the deck, or was Freeze?
Freeze was in my hand.
Oh, 100%.
I had Freeze. I had Freeze and Thoracle in hand, so like I had it.
You just full send it to Born. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, go to Born, put a Thoracle in play, freeze myself, and then like
it's a little bit of a different equation if you don't have like if LED or Freeze is still in the deck or Thoracle's in the deck.
Yeah, but I had 2 rocks in hand and a Chain of Vapor too, right?
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
And so like I can build enough Storm up. Okay. And it just like it gets there, and like it's a little frustrating that it happened, but again, like I played well. I chose my window correctly. I mean, I guess theoretically there's also a world where I like sculpt there and make Lumra not lose to Wayne, and then just win on my next turn. But like maybe it's just like talking to the Lumra player before I jam a Necropotence.
Totally.
But yeah,
I think that like I am proud of how you played the entire game. I know that if I were you, I would, the way it ended would really color the entire experience for me. For sure. But as someone who was watching it like in real time, I think you played relatively like textbook up until you decided to keep the Final Fortune.
Yeah.
In ways that like are worth emulating. Like if someone wants to get better, like you're a really strong Necro player. And then as well as, you know, like there's some decision making that goes on and like when to push, when not to push. But everything that happens after that is one of those like few moments as like cEDH players that we get to like crystallize so many different data points of heuristics and rules, and all of it like comes to a head, and you get to flip the coin of like, am I right or not? And it's so rare to be able to like say like with pinpoint accuracy, here are decisions I need to make different to improve as a cEDH player.
You know, it's also like kind of frustrating too, is that there is a world there where because I think I used Noxious Revival to offer You Can't Refuse, and if I used Summoner's Pact instead of Noxious Revival, then in response to the Pit of Offerings, I Noxious Revival the freeze or the LED back onto my library.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so close. It's so close, right? So it is what it is. I'm not like super tilted about the game. Like it's a learning experience. Like I need to remember that Lumra can interact with more things than a mono green deck traditionally can. But I want to talk about my round 5 win that I played with my childhood friend Dan, which Logan got to play with at Breach the Bay. Yeah, same player. So we got to sit down, and I was in seat 2, and he was in seat 3. And we also played with Glacial City. He was playing Rowan, and we were also playing with I forget their name. I'm sorry, I'm really, really bad with names. But it was an Arkham player.
Can you pull up? Because we actually had some photos of the event, and I think that one of the first photos is like a picture of like Glacial City.
Oh, real quick, someone's at my door. I'll be right back.
Right.
So this is the photos for the event. That's Wayne. Wayne, awesome player, awesome person. I absolutely love Wayne. I'm trying to find Glacial City. Here's Charles. Charles has been on the channel recently. That's Colin. Ty. It's so cool. So cool. Where is Glacial City?
Wow, I really thought it was...
This guy was playing Winota.
Oh, that's the Winota player.
This is the Winota player. Yeah. Crazy. He also almost won his first round against Jason. They had to pass a Wishclaw Talisman round between 3 players to get a draw. Yeah. Jason's like, we're gonna lose to Winota. I have a Wishclaw talisman. I can go get a swords. You can go get a swords, and you can go get something else. And they just obliterated the Winota board. And he's like, all right, I guess I have to accept the draw.
That's so funny.
Crazy,
That's so
dude.
Funny. There's Charles again.
Baldy, the young goat, dude. Dexter's
so fun. Dexter's so cool.
Jason doing well. Tim, this is the top 4 pod for the redemption event. No, this is not the top 4 pod of the redemption event. This is our round 1 at the redemption event, in which Jason forced a draw because he was refusing to lose to Helga. He literally, I had hidden strings to my Helga that could tap for like 10 mana, and I had targeting my Helga and my Gaia's Cradle.
Oh, goodness.
And Jason's like, guys, we're gonna lose to Helga. I only have a Mindbreak Trap. The only way I'm casting this is if you guys all accept a draw here. And they had to. Like, they had to accept a draw. Like, or they had to force a draw on Helga, which is so gas.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, dude, they were so cooked, man.
Helga's just...
I am trying to find a photo of
I totally
City.
thought it was near the
Dude,
top. There's Pigeon.
This is right after the pop-off of his round 16 game.
Yeah.
This is the face of, I can't believe I actually won that game.
Yeah.
He had...
Wait, synopsis of that game, though? Alright, so what went down there?
Okay.
So,
Eric probably knows better than anyone, right?
This is a really, really interesting game to watch in real time. So I would highly recommend watching it because I believe he was in a triple blue farm pod, and we see multiple different archetypes of blue farm represented. And I also don't want to skip past the story of your childhood friend, Austin, so we need to circle back to that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Essentially, he makes a win attempt. It doesn't go through. Multiple blue farm players make win attempts. They don't go through. I forget it was either a TNT player. I think it was a blue farm player. Is going to win, but they have to decon or tainted pact way lower than they originally wanted to. Well, I totally whiffed on that. My bad, guys. We can just that's a good picture to leave it on. So his only out is to manually brain freeze the table and pass the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we're talking like basically an hour and a half between win attempts, like between when Pigeon won and the stack is being used the entire time. He doesn't have enough mana or cards in library to brain freeze everyone. He can only brain freeze 2 players. So he has to pick between 2 blue farm players, both of which have enough mana on board to cast a Savine's Wreck, or a Ral that already went for it and got stopped.
Yep.
He's like, if I'm going to go to the beats, I believe that like Pigeon was on the lowest life. If it comes down to punchies with like Crom, he's probably going to be the easiest to kill. So he has like maybe like 9 cards still left in his library. He had to LED, so I don't think there are any cards in hand. Pigeon untaps, draws like 2 or 3 like cast. He has like 2 or 3 castable spells in hand, and he draws the brain freeze. So he just shows it to the other guy, and he can see it's on the spot.
No way, dude. No
Yeah.
way.
So Pigeon outraced him with just a brain freeze.
Yep.
So he cast brain freeze, cast reiterate to copy the brain freeze, so the Crom no longer has enough turns to kill Pigeon.
Yeah, he's just gonna die, and it's so interesting, especially because there were other lines, like there's Past in Flames and like flashback spells and stuff, but and that is like a 30-45 second synopsis of that's me describing the Dark Knight as saying they have this like really cool fight scene, and then somewhere in the movie, Heath Ledger goes, "Why so serious?" So yeah, go watch it. That's kind of like the level of like analysis we're able to apply. Super duper interesting. But yeah, huge shout out to Pigeon. I think Pigeon to me is a good example of like moving forward the kind of like stamp that like professional cEDH players need to have. Is he plays super aggressive. He loves winning. He's literally obsessed with like cEDH. And if you want to find someone who has a problem with Pigeon, you're gonna have to like look really, really, really hard.
Dude, you know who the people that have problems with Pigeon is anyone that cheats in this game, because he's definitely gonna catch them and start a dock.
For sure. But that's a good group to be hated by.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I want to hear the story about you and your childhood friend Austin.
So first of all, this is the top 4 of the redemption event, which is awesome. I'm in seat 4. I like bubbled into the redemption event top 4, which is crazy. But this is Deck Driver. He is a Magic content creator that is converting to cEDH content, which is awesome. He played Tivit this event. Amazing. Tim was playing Kinnan, and then Bad Dog was playing Kalia, because I think that's the only deck they know how to play.
Yeah. Is that the exact same face you're making in the photo of the first round of the redemption event too?
Yeah, probably. Well, okay, so 3 of the 4 people in that round were in this game. You take out Bad Dog and you put in Jason. And so
Basically,
it's a crazy, crazy, crazy game. But yeah, we'll get to that later. My round 5 going against Daniel or Dan, he goes by Dan now.
Big D.
Glacial City and then the Arkham player, which by the way, dude, it sucks, bro. Like, good luck. You play Arkham in an event against like anyone from Denver, and you have like you have almost a 0% chance of winning a game, right? Like we're like Dan literally had like 3 pieces of interaction. He's like, I don't know what Arkham does, and I was like, I have intimate knowledge of this deck.
We know the lines.
Yeah. And so Dan's just like, all right, I'm just gonna trust you, and he's like staring at Odawara and Beseiju and like something. And I was like, oh, they have no chance at winning anymore.
0 chance. Yeah.
Austin, you're like, hold my portal to Phyrexia.
Yeah. I was like, they have nothing, dude. Like, they're fucked. And Dan's like, okay, sounds great.
Screwdriver.
For the viewers, how you play against Arkham is you wait for Arkham to sack something, whatever it's sacking, and you just kill that, or you kill Arkham over it.
Yeah. And
Arkham
then they just fall apart.
They do nothing.
Yeah, you just like time walk the deck like 3 times, and they just like fall apart.
The only activation you give them is they can get a 1 ring. You can give them a 1 ring occasionally, because like you want the blue player to sometimes have counter spells, so that they can get the 1 ring, or the portal if it doesn't affect you.
I've also learned this, that Arkham only plays like 8 counter spells.
Oh,
and
yeah,
no.
No.
I'm like, dude, I don't even want you to have a 1 ring anymore. You're just useless. Get out of here.
Dude, at Rumble, we played against an Arkham player that played with 0 interaction. Like, he literally ran 0 interaction. Like, that was his, and I was like, all right, sure, dude, mono blue deck with no interaction. I'm into that.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But, so we get into this board state where I have Sisay, Kinnan, Smothering Tithe, and Daniel has Kinnan, Smothering Tithe. And we pass. Like, I'm just like, pass, like, whatever, pass. I'm passing on anything, right? Daniel had, at this point, I think, had already landed a Heuristic Study or a Fish or something like that. Had, like, 18, 19, 20 cards in hand as we passed to Glacial City, Anthony's turn. And Anthony's like, I don't think there's any chance of me winning this game. Like, I really don't know what's going to happen here. And so he's like, I'm going to put a tutor on the stack, because he'd been kind of blown out already, I'm pretty sure. And he put a tutor on the stack, and we're like, we both are like, what are you getting here? And Anthony's like, I don't know, but it's not a win attempt. And Dan says, hey, you should go get a Peer into the Abyss.
What's
up?
What deck is he playing?
He was playing Rowan. Right? And Anthony's like, okay, yeah, I'll go get a Peer into the Abyss.
I'll do that.
Which is, hey, I'm going to make both of you guys 100 mana and see what happens. Yeah. And so he puts Peer into the Abyss on the stack, and I'm like, okay. At this point, I think I had 10 treasures. So I cracked my 10 treasures. No,
okay.
hold on. Okay. So I crack my 10 treasures, put a Teferi out into play, obviously, right?
Hot.
And so they're like, oh, fuck, we're fucked. Arkham activates, put a Godfair statue, or not a Godfair statue, puts Portal of Phyrexia in play. And I'm like, at this point, I already have enough mana to, like, put enough legendary creatures out that the thing wouldn't kill all my creatures, but it would kill Daniel's Kinnan, right?
Ooh.
But so Daniel's just like, I don't know what to do, and I was like, oh, actually, in response, I'm gonna Orange Chant you, Daniel, because you can't. Like, so he tries to Odawara my Teferi, and I Orange Chant him. So then he has nothing, right? And then I just proceed to win with the Peer into the Abyss on the stack, because I was like, I can't let Kinnan make 100 treasures before me. Yeah, like, he'll just spit whatever he needs, and I lose the game. Yeah. And so yeah, it was crazy though. It was so crazy.
That's so fun.
That's a sick game.
But yeah, dude, the homie Peer, because he's like, I'd rather the game. The homie Peer, because he's like, I would rather the game end right now. And I was like, gas, dude, let's do this.
Let's see where it goes.
Never heard a Rowan player say that before.
Yeah. But yeah, so the event was super fun. The redemption was also a blast. Like, I had a good time. Me and Logan got into a pod, and he He started looping Underworld Breach, or he using Breach with Krark, a doubler, Tavern Scoundrel, Stock Up, and LED. Yeah, which...
What?
Yeah, so you can just, like,
Stock
keep
Up, April
casting...
11th, everyone's bad at Magic.
You can keep, like, casting Stock Up over and over again with your LED to fuel your... Like, if you get one Krark doubler, then you'll have enough cards in your hand that your LED will crack enough that you can keep going, essentially.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the problem
Okay.
is that Logan had Ashling out, right? Which Ashling, the mono red Ashling, that says
Okay.
whenever you cast a spell, Magecraft, discard a card, then draw a card.
Yep.
And the blue farm player had Tithe Ristic out, right? So at this point, it's not mana positive, or it's not like he can't keep paying for Ristics unless he keeps winning Kark triggers with Tavern Scoundrel, right?
Okay.
And at this point, Logan's like, "Hey, like this is a deterministic win," and I was like, "I don't think that's true." Like, because I'm staring at a Flood Caller in the blue farm player's hand, and I was like, he can just Flood Caller on top of you. Like, this is not deterministic at this point, right? It's also Krark. Nothing's deterministic.
If no one interacts with me, it's deterministic.
And but Logan, the judge came over and he's like, he's presenting a loop, and I was like, that's not a loop, but I'm okay. I'm down for him to keep playing this out. Unfortunately, it's still like time, and I realize that if I draw this game, I definitely go in.
Oh.
Okay, sure.
And so, like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I bubble out on a loss, but I'm pretty sure I might bubble in with a draw. And I told Logan, I was like, even if you win, I'm pretty sure you bubble out of this game because I'm still at higher win percentage than you, or opponent win percentage, which he proceeds not to hear, which unfortunately sucks. Because he was like, if I didn't have a chance of making top 4, like, there's no reason to me to, like, actually try to win here.
Yeah, to sit here and
right? Yeah. But in this spot, the blue farm player just concedes. He's like, I'm down to concede. And I was like, okay,
What?
same, sure, why not? Let's just concede here. But, like, in reality, and I was, like, looking at it the whole time, is like, I don't think Krark, like, the idea with Krark breach lines is eventually they're trying to brain freeze us all out and make us draw a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that's the case, I think Logan kills himself with Ashling, and that's what I was waiting for.
I definitely think this is like a bubble or like an appendage on this conversation. This is like a wart or a pimple that this is making me think of. Something I've been trying to get better at is watching 40 and 60 card coverage and stuff as well, because while a lot of times I do really disagree with a lot of like the takes that 40 and 60 card players have, there definitely are older siblings when it comes to like professional competitive Magic. And something that is fascinating to me is you will watch competitive players who have dedicated their entire lives to winning the game concede like 8 turns before they've actually lost.
Yeah.
Because they know how it's going to play out.
Sure.
But
well,
also,
they need timing. They need the time, right?
Yeah.
Time on the round is really what it comes down
and
to.
it's so fascinating to me because I think that in cEDH we're still figuring out when the right time to concede is. Because I think we've all experienced both other players doing this and ourselves doing this, agreeing to a draw way before you should have. Like, you had an opportunity to fight for a win, and you agreed to a draw too early. As well as other situations where players are like, no, I've got this, and they proceed to, like, punt or lose. And so, especially as cEDH, we're working to, like, figure out the right amount of time to have in, like, matches and things like that. That's another thing I'm trying to figure out, is that, like, a non-socially in-pod motivated understanding of when you're supposed to concede. Because I think that, like, if you're in a pod and you're doing, like, tournament math at the same time, I think that muddies the conversation a lot. Just like sitting in a bar, having a conversation, establishing like an understanding of like when you're like, you know, drawing into like the Seiju, no, just concede. Like that kind of like, you know, and I think that is another one of the like steps up the ladder that as like cEDH players, if we're looking to like, I think that's like another like hurdle that's important for us to like jump over, because I agree. I think that is a relevant topic because of the conversation that's being having is when you're supposed to agree to a draw, when you're supposed to concede, when you're supposed to make them play it out.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like a degree of like forcing people to play it out that borders on like unsportsmanlike.
Well, it's like slow play, right? And like most of the time, if you're in this spot, like I would agree at this point to concede, right? Mm-hmm. But like the fact that he had a card that made him draw cards on Magecraft trigger, and the idea behind the deck is to brain freeze us, I was like, he might just kill himself.
Sure, he might not get there.
I would agree with your initial observations.
And there's a possibility too you just lose like 7 Krark flips in a row, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
it's not
again
unimaginable, right? Like you can tell that story to anyone, and they're going to be able to think of like 1 or 2. And Logan's a smart guy, and he's a great deck builder, so I'm sure he thought of things like that. And
Absolutely.
when he gets those decision points, he's an incredibly intuitive and like creative thinker when it comes to like 50 spells on the stack. He just is able to pay better attention than like most of the people are in this situation. But there's enough mitigating factors to prevent it being like an automatic yes to a concede or a draw.
Yeah,
and it's kind
absolutely.
of like a ship of Theseus situation of like you know, like the fact that he's on like a Krark deck instead of like blue farm. Like if it's blue farm, it's probably easier. Oh, if he doesn't have like Ashling, does that mean that if he can just like Flare of Duplication his Ashling, you'll concede then? Like there's a the Matrix
it really,
quickly like
what it came down to is like, is this Ashling gonna die? Like, can you get rid of it? And will you get rid of it before you cast your Brain Freeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once the blue farm person conceded, I was like, okay, I'm gonna concede. It's fine. I don't really care, right?
That's fair. Yeah, because you need the blue farm player to like be like, no, I want to see. Like
exactly.
If they're not in it down here.
Yeah, like I can't be the only one being like, no, Logan, you need to play it out. Because it just seems like slow play at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's my incentive to actually try to get a draw here. But like, once one other person's like, no, I'm good to concede, I'm like, okay, then I'm down.
Especially because you can't tell them why you can't concede, because
exactly.
Point out, that I think is also a fulcrum that we have to like, because like if a judge gets called for slow play, you can have that conversation away from the table, and the judge is gonna be like, oh no, I can see it, no, I need to play it out. But if you're the player being asked to play it out in that scene, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation for you, because people are not telling you a mistake that you don't know that you might make.
Exactly.
Which in terms of like tournament experience feel bads, I would like that feels really, really bad. And I think that in order to like smooth out the tournament experience, I think it would benefit both players losing, winning, and drawing I think that's the way that if we continue to mature as like tournament attenders, I think that's going to like improve the tournament experience, but not at the cost of like the player like winning. Like I said, because we've all had that experience of like giving up too quickly, and I refuse to ever be a part of something that compromises someone's like internal desire of like, I think I can win this, because I think that is one of the most important things to foster in a player. And so, not that I have like a solution, or like many things in my life, I'm just like, so we should talk about this.
Also, a very fun part of this game is Logan was Krarking a gut shot. And so like he had Ashling, so he was like building, like he was like filtering his deck to try to find a real spell instead of gut shot, right?
That's so good.
And at this point, the blue farm player is sitting there with like 4 pieces of interaction, but has no idea how to play against a Krark deck. And I was like, I would like to offer a proposal, because at this point, the blue farm player is dying. We're all going to die, right? And I know blue farm has Breach and like 3 wins in his hand, because he's like, what do we do here? And I was like, I don't know, let me see your hand. And so he shows me his hand. And I was like, I would like to talk you through this situation, but you cannot win on your turn. And he was just like, he's like, wait, what? Like, that's a crazy statement. And I was like, you can get through this, but not without experience.
Yep. Good luck, bro.
And he, like, lets it go on way too long, and Logan almost wins the game. I think he finds a pocket of 3 lands, which feels so bad. But yeah, so then Blue Farm was like, all right, I'm going to push. And we're like, are you sure you can beat my interaction? I'm playing Helga with, like, 7 cards in hand. And he's like, wait. And I was like, I know you used all 3 of your pieces of interaction on that Krark turn.
Yeah.
And so I know this is naked. Can you beat me right now?
Yep.
And he's like, I don't know. And we're like, you should just use the Wish Claw to go get a tithe. And like, he's like, all right. Upon much more convincing, he's like, all right, I'll go get a tithe. And I just like, I had 2 dorks that I was like showing. I was showing 2 dorks to Juan and Logan, and Logan's just stone facing it, like, oh yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we got this.
Just like, oh my god. But yeah, it was a fun tournament. It was a fun weekend. Lots of good people, lots of good food, lots of good magic. But yeah. We'll talk a little bit more as we bring up some things on Adnos that Logan and a few other people wrote. If you guys can go on to Adnos and really read through this, because Logan wrote like a very long-winded sum up of his experience of this tournament, and it's like hyper vulnerable. And if you guys were able to read it yourselves, like,
that's awesome. That's really awesome.
I have never really heard Logan be like this vulnerable when it comes to like his feelings when it comes to like Magic and cEDH and competition and stuff. And I just think it's a really, really good read into the minds of a player that we all consider like a top 20 player in the world, right? But so there's this post was by Logan. I won't go super into it because I do think it's like really worth reading in his words, but it's just kind of like goes into the mentality of of his headspace after the weekend, realistically. But yeah, really, really good read. We also had the other guy on our team that was there,
The other
Jason.
guy.
So Jason talks a little bit more about like his rounds and whatnot, but he also talks about his like thoughts going into the event. And I really didn't, like, personally, after I had read this, I didn't realize that Jason was carrying so much like baggage going into this because of his Royal Rumble push, realistically, or like his like performance at Royal Rumble. And so like going into that was also very interesting because like I'm sure that all three of us like look at Jason as this like insanely confident cEDH player, but for him to like come out and be like, yeah, like I was pretty shaky going into this event, and it sucks that I played like this, you know? But yeah, so you go ahead and read this specifically. Like I think like the pre-tournament prep and mindset. He's a huge shout out to Tino Sireno. I know that they brew quite often, and Tino was like actively bringing Jason's Blue Farm list to events in Europe to like see how it was doing, and they were both crushing, right? Like they were both crushing, and then going into this event, like it just like he didn't find an Esper Sentinel the entirety of the event, and just like, you know, the deck kind of got by variance because like we all know Blue Farm is a deck that can win. It won the Invitational, and like for you to just like not see the hands that can get you there, it's really frustrating. Like he ended up mulling to 1 on a game, like in his round 5, which I will not talk about the ending because it might be questionable. Yeah. But yeah, just like talking about it is really, really cool to basically like read their thoughts on this event. But yeah, specifically this game right here. Force a draw because Helga developed faster board state than he could stabilize. And I was like, yeah, you guys are dead. You're dead. But yeah, it was a really, really fun tournament. Like really good time. It just kind of was unfortunate, like that both of them didn't do as well as they really wished that they could.
Yeah, I would highly encourage reading them from the perspective of like I remember I've been getting back into Counter-Strike lately.
Okay.
A YouTuber that I watch is getting back into it, and I'm a huge backseater, so I was literally explaining it to my wife, and I was like, "Oh, he just made a mistake there. I wouldn't have made that mistake." I was like, "Okay, I need to see if I like if I actually still got it. Definitely don't." Turns out that after not playing a game for 10 years, you get a lot worse at it. But I remember there was a time when I was in college where I was like addicted to ranked CS:GO and Dota 2. And I feel like the having a good day or a bad day hung in the balance of like if that elo was going like up or down. And I think that's an experience that like a lot of people in cEDH have had either before coming to it or with cEDH itself. And so as we continue to develop the marketplace of ideas that feeds the rhetoric that then composes the conversations of when an experienced player is talking to a new player about how to improve and how to get better. If we are not taking our emotions seriously, we are not taking ourselves seriously, which means we're not taking the like version of ourselves that is like taking down tournaments as like an actual reality, because losing happens, bad weekends happen, feeling terrible, feeling awful, like all these like outside influences can't be done away with saying, oh, I just like didn't feel good over the weekend, so I guess I didn't like play well. Like that stuff like follows you, and your thoughts have like real world impacts. And I think for me, both of these are important as seeing two high level players processing through a tournament experience from the lens of like either how I felt before, during, after, and what I think about it now. And the relationship between thoughts and ideas and feelings and emotions, I think, is very important in life in general. But specifically, like, it's a super duper social format, and you are just exhausted and so drained by the end. And I have acted in ways that I'm embarrassed of, or gone to places emotionally I was not aware that I like could go, and had to like many times after tournaments just like drive home with like out listening to like any music or like chat with friends or stuff afterwards, because there's ways that like playing in tournaments are going to push you to limits you didn't know you had, or push you past limits you didn't know you had, in good ways that stretch you and help you mature and improve. But also like growing and maturing and improving doesn't always look like, you know, going all wins, no losses, no draws. Like,
yeah,
a lot of times a way that There was one time, this is an adjacent story, and then I would like to hear Jax's thoughts on this. My older brother works in a gym, and a guy in there, I think, had like a random seizure or like a heart attack. And so my brother performed CPR, and the ambulance got there, and the guy lived. And that's all the difference that it took between someone living and dying, was that my brother took a class at the YMCA when he was like 16. But he was in the newspaper, so we're talking about it in the family group chat, as one does. And my dad, who's in the military, was talking about how it reminded him of something that Marines will say, and that's that no one ever rises to the occasion. You always sink to the level of your training. And so in cEDH, we are finding ourselves in positions that as players or as a community, we are oftentimes unprepared to deal with because they're new, they're foreign. Like, our cEDH is still growing and expanding. We're still figuring out what a top level cEDH player like looks like. We're still very much in motion and development. And so I think it's a huge privilege for us to have this kind of access to players via the medium of like Adnaz, specifically them taking the time to like write it out, I think is also really important. And so regardless what you think about them as individuals, their play styles, or their personalities, I think that this type of thing is something that is going to become very important in the development of cEDH players.
Agreed.
And so that's why I think, even if you don't care about either of them as people as all, it's worth paying attention to, because I think that as like cEDH teams get bigger and the scene get bigger, this type of communication between players is what I think should be expected and supported within cEDH teams. And if players are not capable of like reflecting on who they are and like what's happening like emotionally as they're playing cEDH, I think that's going to be like an uncrossable bridge for them as they try to get better.
Agreed.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I also just like both of these people being so vulnerable about like what was happening is just like something that should be rewarded and like encouraged, I guess is probably a better word for it. And like I just, please read these things because they put a lot of work into them. And but yeah, the next tab, and this is probably the actual story of the weekend.
Yeah.
Is Rog Ishai has hit the scene as a real deck.
Yeah.
So
Started
Lamora
turning
just put out a
standard.
video about it, just like going through the list like pretty hard. But Jace is the person that, with help from other people, it is Jace's brainchild.
Mhm.
This is a color shifted version of Ragsai, where the idea of the game is that there is a true control deck at the table. And this deck is a true control deck at the table. So he kind of goes through his Zoomer thoughts about just this deck and his experience at the tournament and how well him and Zach both did with this deck, where
Both
they
made
didn't
top
drop a game, either one of them in Swiss. The only game that was lost on this game, in this deck, the whole weekend, was a top 16 game.
Yeah. Which
This deck is real.
Crazy.
It is so good, and it does just put 5 Rhystic Studies into play.
Oh, totally. And again, like the addition of white, right? Throwing Esper Sentinels in there, right? Like, yeah, and then you have a partner that's semi-useful, right? Like Ishai can sometimes just be a clock compared to Silas being almost unusable in Ragsai most of the time.
Smothering ties, silences.
Yeah, the silences for the control piece.
I want to highlight this paragraph right here. I sat down against Nick on Vilethras, which is a very fast turbo deck.
Yep.
Grant on T&K, and Dexter on Ragsai. Dexter being the best Ragsai pilot in our country. I was very confident going into the game. Huh? Like, that should tell you all you need to know about this deck, right? And, like, yes, it ended up being a draw because someone put turn 1 Necro into play. But, like, going into this game being confident in 3... you're like, oh, yeah, I can stop 3 turbo decks. It's not a problem.
Yeah,
I got this.
I
Like,
think
it's... Yeah, and being like, I'm winning
it's
this
some of the
game.
best
They have
turbo
no
pilots,
chance.
too.
Yeah.
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 The last time I remember a deck existing, like just like poof, here I am. Hey guys. And it's very, very different. But I think the last time I remember is Fishbowl with Pigeon taking Rogthras.
Rockthras.
That was
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I think Rogthras, I think
Sam Black was putting it there, and then
it was like around.
reached.
I think it's also kind of unique that it's like the mid-season invitational. So I think that means that this deck got the opportunity to be run through its paces much faster than a cEDH deck traditionally does. But I mean, like Rogthras like existed, but it wasn't like something that like people would put together because they're interested in taking down tournaments weekend after weekend, planning on going into like Freedom Waffle and Bad Dog and stuff like that. But like Rog Ishai, just like it's just here. It's just here now.
Oh yeah. It is a deck that you need to learn how to play against, and like good luck because it is a top 5 deck in the format already, in my opinion. Like the deck is so good.
Dang, you really think it's that high,
dude?
Wow,
okay.
I
talked to Jace and Zach, right?
Yeah.
I talked to Jace and Zach. Right now, so realistically, like you talk to a lot of TNK players, and they're like, yeah, my bad matchup is Kinnan, right?
Sure.
And like you talk to Kinnan players, and they're like, oh, my bad matchup is like kind of Ragsai, because like they can't be as greedy as they want to be, right?
Sure.
And you talk to these players in Rog Ishai, I have no bad matchups. Terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
Like they might not have like advantage matchups, but
For
saying
sure,
like I have 0 bad matchups, right?
Wow.
Like I think
we need
that's
to-
really scary.
I'm playing that. If Jason's not playing it this weekend, I'm playing it this weekend.
We need to get this list in the hands of normies. That's what I'm interested in. Is once it's not Jason, Zach Adler, how does this list do? Because I think for me they are somewhat in the Ian comedian territory.
Agreed.
Of because what's that Abzan deck that Jason always crushes on? It's Timna and Halana. Yeah. That's also it's a very real deck. When he plays it, I'm very scared. I think this deck has way stronger lines of play and roads it can take to be relevant in the CDH game. I think it's a contender. I think it's a very real deck. I'm very interested what happens when your local Stella Elite players I'll play this instead.
So, okay, just talking through the idea of the deck is that it is Jeskai control with the best win con in our format as their win con for the game, right?
Yep.
And the idea behind this, and Jace is very, very explicit in Jace's post, being I took a lot of inspiration from Logan's Ragsai list. But what I've noticed with Ragsai is that there's a mana problem, right?
Yep.
And this deck solves the mana problem. And it solves it by Tataru Taru, and it solves it by Smothering Tithe, right?
Yep. And Storm
Kiln Artist, which realistically could have been playing in Ragsai and probably should have been if the deck was staying developed, right?
It is. Yeah, I'm playing it.
But the one win con in this deck, the true win con is Breach.
Yeah.
The insane win con is
the
Hullbreaker Horror combo into Emrakul to make infinite turns of your opponents, which is insane. But what it is this deck is just utilizing Rog as the mana generation to put a turn 1 or turn 2 Rhystic Study into play, and then copy it, and then copy it, and then copy it, and then copy it. And what do you do with all those cards? You have 30 pieces of interaction. And when I say 30 pieces, this is 30 pieces of stack interaction. This is...
You see the Firestorm, bro?
Firestorm, because you have so many cards in your hand, you're like, oh, I'm going to pick a fight and just wipe the board. I legitimately think that I would not be surprised if Jace has casted this and been I'm going to discard 40, kill everyone.
The issue is you need 40 permanents to target and play. You can't target the same player multiple.
Really?
Yep. So
Yeah,
I used to play this in Zada way back, but yeah.
Time to cross that off my bingo sheet.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, this card would be ridiculously busted, dude.
it's still
I
insane.
guess
it's still really good.
Yeah, I guess.
But if you could
Narset,
target the same thing twice, the same person twice, right?
because Narset players would play this over Earthquake or Meteor Storm probably then.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you have to discard the cards. Oh, that's so interesting. It is
But
cool.
legitimately, going into your turn, you're like, all right, I'm gonna pick a fight, so you guys give me more gas. Firestorm, destroy the board, discard all my lands.
Yep.
And then they have to fight it. Then they play into your 2 or 3 Rhystic Studies. And you're like, oh, sick, thanks for the gas, now I can just win.
Yep.
Austin, I want to hear you talk more about this list. Jax, while he's doing that, can you go to the Google Sheet, compare this to your Ragsai list, and send the URL for the comparison to Austin so we can pull it up? If we have time for that, I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah. We got time.
Okay, I want to hear more, because did you get the chance to play against this, Austin?
I have not.
Okay.
I have seen it played in
So I've been playing in
backroom
Caucasus
discords.
Okay,
and this deck's legit, dude. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't turn the corner as quickly as Wrong Side does.
Agreed.
That's the one downside. But I don't know. It gets 3 Rhystic Studies and Esper Sentinel is a huge boon to the deck. Triple Esper
it's
Sentinel.
the enchantment package. Can we see that?
Yeah. So also there is a legitimate plan with this deck to gifts and given. Here, give me 2 Rhystic Studies because good luck.
Totally.
Like, or give me your gifts package is like 2 Rhystic Studies and a Savine's Reclamation. You know, like,
Okay, yeah.
you're just like, you're fucked.
Okay, there's the Curse of Opulence is a card that he's on that Zach isn't, but I do think it's very fun.
I think this just got added after the Invitational.
Okay.
Because he was on, they're also playing Apple, because, like, it needs the way to convert, right? Like, it needs to be like, all right, I'm going to push.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
I love it.
There's 3 cards different between him and Zach right now. Curse of Opulence is one because Zach is also on Amphibian Downpour. And I think they're on a different land, and I think it's like a misdirection versus like something else. This is so interesting. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. And it really is, like, we all, for a year and a half now, we're like, control doesn't exist in cEDH.
Yeah.
It does, and this is what it looks like.
So for people who have like I think cEDH is kind of unique in that like a lot of people either have only played cEDH or have only played casual and cEDH. So control is something you kind of see present in like bracket 3, bracket 4, and it is something that like decks will dip their toe in. They will like for periods of the game play control, but Austin, if you were to say like a control deck is, and then complete that sentence, what would you say?
I think a control deck is just like you are trying to control the game, whether it be through like the control of someone's resources or the control of a control of the stack. You are trying to control like the momentum of the game long enough to the point where you have more resources than the other players and can convert that in the long run to a win, essentially. So we're looking like right here, right? Like they lose Meme Bet, they lose all of the tutors, which is real, and they lose like Necropotence, which isn't traditional wrong side, but like it should be.
It should be the deck, yeah. It just helps turn the corner.
And it loses Sauces of Decon, right? Mm-hmm. But like the idea behind this deck is that you're running so much more interaction and silences and card draw and mana, and you're like, I don't care about Thassa's Decon because it's never going to be relevant to me because I'm just going to drag this game out into the depths of hell, and I'm winning because my deck is designed to win in the depths of hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it can always go over top, right? And then like these guys also like a serious threat in the late game, right? Like in those top 16 and top 4 games where it's a 3-hour or a no time limit.
Also, they're on Relic of Legends and Value Flood Color, which is like
and then Ishai's a bird too,
and
right?
Ishai's a bird, which like most of the time isn't relevant, but sometimes could be.
Yeah, well, especially because when Tim went to go put a Bant deck together, he originally did Thrasios Ishai instead of Thrasios Yoshimaru because of that reason.
Yeah, because he liked the Retraction Helix Banishing Knack combos.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Okay, well, this is so intriguing. Yeah, we gotta Jace.
It's amazing.
Jace, if you're listening, we loved your Adnos post.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Message one of us, and we gotta hear you boast about this deck and give us like a deck tech or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to hear more. I want to hear more.
Like, you also gotta just understand, like, okay, you lose like some tutors, right? Mm-hmm. And like, you upgrade Daze to Silence.
Yeah.
You know, and also I want to throw it out there that like, you know how like the idea is that you can like win off of a single demonic tutor in Grixis, right? In Jeskai, you can win off a single idyllic tutor. It goes and gets your Breach, then you cast idyllic to go get your Lion's Eye Diamond.
How do you get a freeze though?
Oh, true. Mm-hmm.
You already have it in hand.
Yeah, you just have it in hand.
My bad. Yeah, it's like, the real trade-offs here, right? Is like you're losing the premium tutors, right?
Yeah.
So like I think you're 2 tutors less total over the whole course of the list than you are in Ragsai.
Wait, hold on. Do you even need? No, hold on. You don't even need it. You just Apple people.
Oh, that's so fun.
Sure. But I mean, LED can't quite cast Apple though.
Yeah, but you should be able to in the late game.
You're gonna already have a treasure from your Smothering Tithe. It's okay.
No. You just like cast LED twice, right?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the idea of this deck. I think it's awesome. Like, I love that Jace's brainchild was put to work this weekend. And like, yes, they didn't win the tournament and they didn't top 4 the tournament, but like, this was the conversation of this weekend, was that this deck is it made its grand entrance to our format, and it's very fucking real.
Yeah, I'm very
There's
excited.
definitely an argument to be made that this is the best gifts ungiven deck with Rog at the helm.
Oh,
Maybe something in the background is getting brewed, but yes, I agree.
One of those cards is incredibly like the strongest card in the format. The other one I know is near and dear to the hearts of many, many, many people. I think Jeskai has always been one of the best homes for gifts ungiven, so it's always fun to see that card get
I
played.
agree. But
I think it's hard for it to put in a lot of work in other piles. It's kind of like a Praetor's Grasp thing where I feel like people play it because they really, really like it. It's not necessary, but if you like it, the power of the card increases just based on the fact that you think it's like cooler. You know,
Dude.
It's one of those cards I think is really fun.
We also need to talk about just like the fact that Mystical Tutor just like got so much better with the printing of flash photography.
dude, it made it so good. It made
Like-
it so good.
Like it's so good that it can go find this card, man. Like, oh sick! My like land Mystical Tutor ramp spell can go find me a Ristic Study if someone else plays
Literally.
one.
Literally, right? But it's not even just a Ristic Study, right? Like that you can copy an Esper Sentinel, right? Like you
Yep,
can find you
yep.
anything on the board.
Yep. Okay, this is like a real thing where they're just like, all right, turn 1 Esper, mana, and then like, oh, they're not on copying artifact anymore, but like just copy Esper.
Oh yeah. I'm back on copy artifact. I'm on
Like-
a very similar list to Jason's, I think.
It's so sick, man. I love this deck. I think it's so cool.
I'm back up
It's
in
super
Imposter
cool.
Mech as well. I'm on Imposter Mech over Flesh Dupe. Jason's been trying Image, but I think I like Imposter Mech.
Okay, I mean, yeah, like there's definitely a lot to explore here.
Yeah,
But, like
there's
the idea,
little tweaks, right? I think the idea is sick, right?
The idea-
Yeah,
just
yeah.
control.
the idea that you can be like, if we get into the late game stack war, like I can actually 3v1 you and you guys have no chance is so sick, right?
With silences, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you find any choke point and then resolve a silence, right? Like you're just
They're dead.
actually
Yeah, they're dead,
Yeah.
right?
Thing that does need to be explored, and this connects to something earlier that you talked about. The Midseason Invitational was not a good opportunity for this deck to go against No Bad Cards Kinnan. Which is also something that kind of has the game plan of just get like a ton of draw engines and like as much free interaction as possible.
Yeah, but No Bad Cards Kinnan only runs like 13, 14 pieces of stack interaction, right? Like this deck goes to No
that's a
Bad
good point.
Cards Kinnan and it's like, oh yeah, I win this game. You don't.
That's a good point. Yeah, it definitely is going to be higher on interaction, and it does have the fact that it gets to cast its own Smothering Tide instead of having to copy one, which is also
And-
like a huge W.
which is huge.
That's a huge
The other
W.
thing is that this deck running Pyro and Red Blast to destroy Kinnan's engines
Yeah,
or
that's really good.
Kinnan is insane, right?
Also, being
and
able to like,
Firestorm to just blow the
Blow
fuck
Kinnan
up
out,
out
yeah.
of Kinnan, like you're just like, oh yeah, you're not a deck anymore. Have fun.
playing Kinnan, I miss Breach so much. Like
Yeah.
Breach is like Thassa's Oracle and Underworld Breach. I feel like if you talk to people who've been around forever, that's kind of like what started the like casual CDH kind of divide, because you had a card that says win the game actually on it and a card that says win the game mostly on it. And to be able to have access to both of those should you choose to is really strong. Plus you
Yeah.
have Rug, which is like so good.
So just a big fan. Be ready if you were playing in CDH tournaments. Be ready to start seeing this deck and understand that the choke point is the first cast of Ristic Study.
Yep, you
You
can't
kind of have to treat it like a Nas, which is like very incorrect of like what we have all been preaching for so long.
Austin, are you telling people to counteristic study?
Maybe.
Even in Jace's article there, he was saying where he was having games where people were being like, I will skip my whole next turn where I won't even play a land if someone
Yeah.
counters this.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Right,
the
That's
first
so
heuristic study is the beginning
Yeah,
of the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
And, like-
because like literally it's Ristic, it's turn 2 Ristic into turn 3 like 2 to 3, like one more Ristic into sometimes
Yeah.
two more Ristics.
Yeah.
Our next sponsor for the league is going to be us and the letters we're sending to everyone we told not to counteristic over the last
Like,
year.
what do you
Dude,
mean?
it might be, man. Because like
It'll be
realistically,
interesting.
dude, like when we're talking about like playing against No Bad Guard Kinnan, like that's also the answer.
Yep,
is destroying
100%.
their first heuristic
100%.
study. Being like,
Yep.
sorry, like
And no
we
one
understand
counts
that
with
like you're like this blows you out. It needs to happen because you are designed to do this better than anyone else, right?
Yeah, playing against
Until now.
playing against Cyrus Tony, that's something he does all the time, and I hate how effective it is.
Yeah.
Because
agreed.
like I've grown so accustomed to being able to just like everyone insta passing on like a turn 1 fish or a turn 1 ristic that I as a player have grown lazy in mulligans, and I'm not looking for like a fish plus a backup plan, or a way. I'm interested to see the way that this deck not only adjusts the meta, but the way the meta conversation of CDH, of like how we talk in games about like Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe. Because this is, I think, going to be a little bit similar to like Cabbage Merchant in terms of like, I think Rug Ishai either has the ability to close the door on Turbo and just like drag us all the way back to like mid-range heaven or hell, depending on how you feel about it, or like this is what's going to like cement Turbo's ability of you just have to mulligan lower than, you know, you just have to get out before the Rhystic Study, which is going to keep us in this kind of like turn simulator, right? Like kind of like seat order, like
the like real problem is like with that plan of like going faster is this deck runs like so much like free interaction. It runs Commandeer, Force, Mindbreak Trap, like Misdirection, Force and Neg, Fierce, Swat, Flare, Dupe, Shoal. Like, just good luck. Good luck outrunning it. Because, like, they're going to have a Rhystic Study on turn 2 with a piece of backup, like, most of the time. That's terrifying. It's, like, actually terrifying.
Yeah, I think the big difference is, like, if you have, like, Rog Ishai, No Bad Cards Cannon, Blue Farm, and TNT, like, that's really good. But if it's Rog Ishai, Ral, Itali, Ragsai. I think that's more what's going to happen is I think that if we are kind of making this like March Madness bracket of like CDH decks, like this deck probably 1v1s the hell out of like anybody. But for sure. When we think of the type of greed that players are going to capitalize on the early rounds of Swiss. That's outside of our hands. Like that's something that like only like we're gonna have to wait like a month or two to see. I will not dispute the viability of this or the strength of this. I think it's very strong and it's very, very cool. I'm interested to see that if it is strong in a way that other decks try to emulate, or if they respond to by doing something different. Because I do see this as like something kind of like poking the bear of the meta, of being like, why are your spells getting countered? Why are your spells getting countered? And it'll be interesting to see how like the average CDH player responds to this. Because like if 3 players pick up Rog Ishai, what are the players that aren't picking it up playing instead?
Agreed.
That's the question I'm asking.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like a ton of what happened this weekend is just this, realistically. Also, other thing is like huge shout out, congrats to Dallas for winning the event. I think it's awesome. Like this is
good job, Dallas. 2
huge events that Dallas has won in the last like few months because he's also the player that won the cookout. So it's like crazy impressive to win 2 huge events. And he did it on Tim Necrom. So that's one thing. The other thing, and this is a surprise to you guys because we did not put this in the tabs. It's March Meltdown month, dude.
March Meltdown, baby!
Dude, Turtle Pod is just the GOAT. Turtle Pod's the GOAT. If you don't follow this person and you're doing cEDH stuff or looking at our format at all, every March, Turtle Pod posts the 16 biggest pieces of drama in our format, and everyone votes on the most drama possible. And so I think we're in round 3 right now, which currently is the NV3 Pod Hell, thanks to Logan and his child Calvin, and Ty's Fake Time Twister, which apparently was a counterfeit that they did not know about, and someone bought it full price, and then was actually not real.
He was borrowing a friend's Time Twister, I think.
Yeah,
Ty and the friend that he's borrowing the fake Time Twister from found out at the same time when Ty, I think did he get kicked out of the tournament?
He got kicked out because it's a SCG con.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
I think this is very, very fun. I think March Meltdown, kind of going back to the earlier conversation about sometimes disagreeing about how like 40 and 60 card players like view us. I think that there are times when we need to take ourselves seriously, and there are times when we need to be able to laugh at like who we are. And I think March Meltdown is the best avenue of the things about cEDH that we try to take too seriously that are actually just really, really funny. Yep. Sometimes aided by the fact that these are just hilariously named. Like Def Caddick Consultation is, I think, my favorite one.
Dude, it's so funny. But yeah,
if you've there's a lot of things about cEDH Twitter I would not advertise or recommend, but this is one worth making like a Twitter account for and following.
Oh, it's amazing. It's worth it. People get to vote. Currently, I think 11-hour game, which is the 1 seed, has advanced, and I'm pretty sure Black and Blue Sleeves advanced which is Bodhi getting
Was
banned
that
from our
Bodhi?
league.
Yeah.
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 Oh
yeah,
but right now,
Bodhi laps help hexing squelch your apocalypse.
yeah. The other thing that we're like kind of closely associated with is the apologizing for winning. This is Jason,
Yeah.
right? And realistically, I don't know if that was like that much drama, but like what preceded it on Twitter
Dude,
or like
oh my
went
God, LSV,
afterwards.
dude. Oh my God.
LSV trolling our format.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
it's amazing. It's really
Yeah.
really cool.
I wouldn't think of it in
Please pay
terms of
attention.
verticality as severe, but in terms of like horizontally, the amount of people that are aware either of who Jason is
Oh,
or who
dude.
cEDH is.
Dude, people were sending
Yeah.
us like posts on Facebook being like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "I don't know why you guys are seeing this."
Yeah. Well, rest assured, guys, I will 100% be supporting my teammate Jason by voting for apologizing for winning instead of
Of course,
EDH.
yeah.
Jason,
That
if
is
I
the
have
right
anything to do about it, you're going all the way to the top, baby.
I think that it has a high
Very
chance of like at least getting to like semis or semifinals.
At the very least, I think that the threads that develop around the vote, this is going to be one of the longest.
yeah. The thing is that it's gonna be so hard to beat the 1 seed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It's gonna
so
be really,
hard,
it's gonna be
dude.
really hard, yeah.
But okay, whatever your feelings about Max are, just its Wounded Satellite Part 3 is also just so funny. 3 years, 3 posts on Turtle
Yeah.
Pod. Dude, it's so funny.
I just thought
I
it was
love
so funny. I sent a screenshot of this to my wife with that highlighted.
It's so
Doesn't
good.
play Magic, has never met the man. It was like one of the funniest things that happened to her that day.
Also, I just want to say that 4-mana Counterspell Colin's post on Twitter based on what is that stupid counterspell that's in Lorwyn that he posted being like, this is going to change cEDH forever, and it just blew the fuck up. This is not a 10 seed. This thing should be like a 4 or 5 seed. It's so good. But yeah, so that's March Meltdown. Please go to participate because it's
Please.
the best part of the year.
Please,
Oh, yeah.
please. This is March Meltdown is one of the coolest things that cEDH players get to do and be like, this is us, baby.
Yep.
Speaking of cool things that people get to do, I was looking through EDH Top 16. This deck was in a 50-plus player tournament, and it took 5th. It's Kalane Reclusive Painter.
What?
For people who didn't try putting a Prosper Casual deck together, let me go ahead and read it for you. It's Rakdos, so it just costs a black and a red. It's Human Elf Bard. When it enters the battlefield, you create a treasure token, and other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from the treasure spent. Cast on them. Why don't you guys start scrolling through this list and see if anything interesting stands out to you?
Hold on.
That's
I
a fun
mean,
creature
it's
package. That's a fun-
Zeros. There's some eggs.
Here we go.
Sickening
I
dream.
love Sickening Dreams for the. By the way, this is a tangent. I really wish these dream spells were instant because in Ragsai and the deck I am currently building, the dream spells would be so insane. Turbulent Dreams and Nostalgic Dreams, look them up. They're awesome. I really wish they were instant speed. They
Just
are
get
not.
Valley out, dude. You'll be good.
It's like, oh hey, here's a 2-mana Psych Rift for everything. Have fun.
Yeah, for everything. Good luck.
There's some decent interaction here. You got the Red Blast and the Pyro. Let's go.
Yeah.
What are you sacking? There's not one creature is worth more than 2 mana.
Wait, what?
There's
Oh,
a burn.
sacrifice?
An offering and
Oh, burnt aff. Oh, it's a good
The
question.
biggest-
I have no idea. Just Kalane itself, maybe. I don't know. So far, and yep, this looks like Mike Wenham's first list.
eggs, more eggs.
Eggs, and
57.
what the hell is this deck doing?
Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. It's on 20 basic swaps.
Wait, what is this deck doing?
Is
This
it just
deck-
Nas Sickening Dreams? Is that
This
like
is
its
the
only goal?
deepest ad nause you have ever seen outside of like a
No.
Cody Varista. Yeah,
It really is just trying to win with Sickening Dreams.
It's just Sickening Dreams, yeah.
What's the total converted mana cost on this deck?
what, like -1?
0.3, yeah.
Yeah. You go up on life ad nausing with this deck. This is
That's
crazy.
gas, dude. That's
This
so sick.
I'm always on the lookout for stuff like this. Not that I think that this is like a meta buster or like, a challenger for Rog Ishai has entered
Sure,
the
it's entered the
Discord
chat,
call.
yeah.
But more so, I thought I saw this.
So it just makes
and
mana.
whenever I'm watching like I don't really watch much CDH content anymore. Whenever I do it, people are like, oh, it's like such a dead format. You either play blue farm and lose. It's stuff like this that I think of. This took fifth in a 50+ person tournament, and the idea behind it is relatively like capturable as you just look down like the deck list. It's really simple. Like
It is really simple.
They're just a turbo Nas list. Like that should be pretty easy for CH players to like wrap their heads around. But I've never seen a list like this before. And that lets me know that like we still haven't figured out. We haven't solved the Adnaz yet.
Dude, wait, I think that's okay. This deck's reminding me of. Did you guys ever see the infamous Cruel Claw cEDH deck?
Yeah.
That had like two
it was just
things in it.
Yeah, it was just trying to cast Worldfire or whatever, which makes everyone's life one, and like everyone sacrifices all their lands or something.
Yeah.
Fun fact: this list is on Zurin Orb, so you can gain life to cast spells after Nosing.
That's wild.
Look, it's right there. It's right below Mox Opal.
That's so funny.
How insane is that? No, that Cruel Claw one is really fun. That one, you just like, here's an Eldrazi, you know, it's like, that's so cool. Yeah, Scroll Rack, that's a good card. That's a good card spotted.
Dude, that's crazy.
What's Fountain of Youth? That's a new one for me.
Oh,
okay.
It does nothing. It's castable for free.
It triggers
That's what
Birdie.
It turns on your Mox Opal. That's the answer.
Claws of Gix. Ooh, what that card does is it shows up in those boxes that every LGS has of like, here, you could put 100 cards in a tissue box and pay $5 and have them.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's so funny. Oh yeah, this deck is wild.
I think it's awesome.
I hope I'm not gonna put this together because I'm trying really hard to stick to meta decks. Right now, I only have Ragsai, Rockthrash, Cannon, and Blue Farm sleeved up. But I want someone to bring that to a local so I can borrow it. This one is Wheelad, Helga of the Radiant Dawn. People traditionally call it Wheelad because it has a front side that doesn't really matter. You can pay 4 CMC, 2 colorless, 2 white, and then you can flip it for 4, 3 colorless plus a Phyrexian. And the backside says you may cast spells as though they had flash, and spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. For those who haven't played against this, the secret to this list traditionally lies in the sorceries, where you see tons and tons of cards that you have like probably not seen before. Portent of Calamity, Solve the Equation, Prosperity, I think is the funnest one. It's just X and a blue, and each player draws X cards. And you got a ton of fun instants too. This is a relatively normal Wheelie Odd list. If you played Wheelie Odd, I'm sure there's cards that are going to stick out to you. But for those of us who aren't aware of how like even the score lines work, this feels very par for the course for Wheelie Odd. What's interesting to me is that this made top cut in a tournament in Moscow. And as we are looking at decks that are trying to play at instant speed with as many heuristics as possible, I think that always kind of like opens a door for Wheeliod. I know, is it Smalls? Is he the judge who plays this deck?
Smalls is the Wheeliod player. I have sent them a Japanese foil, I think signed Wheeliod before.
So I was curious, looking at this, it's always really interesting to me when decks start doing really well in like the kind of European circuit. I think it's a cool deck. I love it. This was one of the main decks that Logan was playing while I was learning to play cEDH, so that's a really special spot in my heart. So I'm curious what you guys think. In a world where like Rog Ishai is the list that we're looking at, and we're like, what do you think about Wheeliod? What do you think about if someone was talking to you, Jax, and they're like, I just feel like I haven't been doing well in tournaments. I want to play something that's fun, but I also want to play something that's like good. It's got like cool cards in it, but I just want to be doing strong stuff. Should I play Wheeliod, Jax?
Personally, I'd probably say no. I think it's a little too commander-centric, right? If the commander gets blown up, the deck kind of doesn't not do anything, but it has a much harder time trying to do any of the things it's trying to do. But I think at the same time, if we're going to start leaning back into like the copy-ristic meta, like if Rog Ishai is on the uprising and people lean more into this mid-range stuff, then yeah, I think this deck is a crazy mid-range buster.
I also... we've talked a little bit about the partner event coming up. I definitely have a Wheeliod plus broken dumb red goblin commander.
Yeah,
it could be anyone.
It's crazy that he has first strike and menace.
Yeah,
part about him. Yeah,
once again, could be anyone, any son of Roga. It could be anyone.
But I do think that like being able to play Jeskai Wheeliod, like if you just replace Ishai with "Hey, I have flash now," it seems
I flash it,
pretty
everything
good.
costs one less, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, I think like Wheeliod is one of those decks that, first of all, I think I would thrive on a Wheeliod list. Like it does just like kind of call to my playstyle and what I'm good at in this format. So it's always something like a deck that I've thought about playing, but I just think its game plan is a little too slow for our current meta right now.
I agree. And again, I think the commander-centric piece, right? You just don't let Heliod flip the kind of the Arkham same thing, where it's just like you don't give it to him.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah. And the thing is that like good Heliod pilots, they're just like your friend until they're winning the game, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, I've countered like 3 things, just like let my Heliod flip, and you're like, that's your game plan. Like, no, you're not. You're not allowed to do that.
You
like,
not have that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. I think Wheeliod's a really, really cool list. I also enjoy playing against Wheeliod.
Yeah,
like fun. I enjoy like what it does to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Changes the text a lot.
Yeah, it does. It definitely changes what you're expecting out of that game. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's the deck for me right now.
Okay, let's look at it.
Down almost a turn.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the. I feel like I say this literally every time I open my mouth. This deck was really good when Dockside was around because you could just flesh dupe. Turn.
Oh sure, yeah,
yeah. Oh, and with Jewel Lotus. Okay, I need to stop saying this. I need to like get a rubber band that I like flick myself with every time I say, "Oh my word, remember Dockside?"
We're back.
But I do really like your assessment, Jackson. It's like very commander centric and a turn slower than you want to be, and those are 2 things that individually can hold a deck back that together can be pretty rough.
Yeah.
So let's look at it this way: what other decks would need to be on the rise? Stocks in them are going up for you sleeve this.
I mean, like Jack said, like the Ristic meta coming back and having true control decks in the format, like that is what Wheeliod wants, right? Like, so I do think that if we are seeing a Ragsai in every pod just as much as we are seeing like a Tymna Kraum, then like maybe it is worth it to like bring this deck to an event. But until it becomes as popular as that, I just don't see it yet. I also just don't. Here's the real problem, in my opinion, and this might just be a me thing. If that actually happens, like I think that Wheeliod needs to change quite a bit, right? Because even if that's the case, Ragsai beats it on the stack, even with it having flash. Right?
Yeah, no, totally. Like it needs to flip to where it's running less of these bad draw spells.
Yeah.
And more just like playing into if everyone has a Ristic and everyone's drawing cards, and that being more what it's counting on.
Yeah,
and
like
needing a shit ton more interaction in its place.
100%. Like you would just need to like take out so many of these cards and run.
But
like
I don't
you
know,
would need like 25
struggle...
pieces of counter magic.
Yeah, exactly right. Like and then like yeah. I don't know, because like my struggle still is it's Azorius, right? Like it doesn't have great win cons.
It does get to run PO, which is fucking sick, though.
No, which is so sick. Yeah. So I think a fun list, but like again, I think I still kind of put it on the fringe / tier 2 list. Like it's a fun lobby con deck, but as far as like would I want to stake in a 100-person tournament or any big tournament on this deck? Probably not.
Yeah, it definitely functions in the realm of like if you can put 100 games into this list, you can like do some pretty. You could do some damage.
Yeah, agreed.
But also, like, if a list meets like the bracket 5 criteria, and you're a cEDH pilot, go put 100 games on.
I was gonna say, right? Then you're a monster on like you do.
Oh my god, dude! It's so cool that you go 1-1-1 at locals. That's so cool that happened again. Because that's been my experience. Like, is that like you get to a certain level of like competency where you can do decent enough, or the things that are causing you to like not do well are things that can't really be fixed about the list itself. Which is when you start looking at like Vilethras versus Malcolm Thras or things like that. But I do think it's really, really cool. I do think it's interesting to kind of pay attention to non-US tournaments to see how they're doing, especially because so much of what makes like North American cEDH does not show up in like Moxfield because it's the politicking. And so it's always like I wish I could watch this player in Moscow like play this game, because I've played against Smalls, and the way he politics I think makes a lot. It's actually what you said, like Austin, you just you try to counterspell your way into enough like goodwill that people are like, well, how bad could it be? And that is a sign that they haven't played against Wheelad before.
Yeah.
But while it is a deck that I think is really, really cool, I would definitely expect to see this in Swiss way more than Top Cut. I'm interested. Yeah. I want this deck. Wheelad pilots, pull the car off to the side of the road. I'm talking to you specifically. This is me, Eric. The real Eric, not the podcast Eric. Eric the person. I want your deck to be the #1 deck in the format so bad. I think it is so cool. And also, if I'm in a pod with you, I am pretty sure I can win 1 turn earlier every time. And if you guys can change that, I will put in the world's biggest card market order and get like a Portuguese, Russian, or Italian version of every single pay X draw. If you guys can get there. Because I think this deck is so cool, but
it is
but it's got some issues in its bones that it can't fix. I feel like it needs the meta around it to kind of orient itself. But also, I would so love to be proven wrong in this domain. Like,
I agree.
If someone listened, sleeves up Wheelad, and then takes down our league and gets a super cool like vampiric tutor or mystical tutor, and they're like, "I did it, guys! Eat shit." I'll be like,
yeah. I do enjoy this deck. I think it's such a cool idea. Like, and it runs a lot of cool cards, right? So like, it's hard to root against this deck, but yeah, I need to play against it more before I actually respect it.
Yeah, I think it's commander centric, and it runs a good handful of cards that are pretty much useless without the commander.
Yeah. But I think that is all of our tabs for today.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to talk about in cEDH?
Just again to say, super proud of you, super proud of the guys for going to the Invitational. For me, like, my respect of players extends beyond if they're able to win at the end of the game into how they conduct themselves outside of games, in between games, and how they handle the losses. And so it's definitely especially proud of the team for taking a step back and kind of processing through it, because I want cEDH to be around 30 years from now. I want the cEDH players at the top right now to be able to continue to play and then foster new talent and then to like work themselves out of a job, because there's subsequent generations of cEDH players that are better than any of us ever could have been, just because of like the knowledge they're able to glean from like the old heads and stuff.
Dude, it's already happening, man. The kids,
Jace or Dexter,
dude, the kids are so good. They're so good. Like
just the fundamentals on the kids, like their fundamentals and their sequencing is just insane, on top of their brewing, on top of like their politicking and being able to like shit post in game kind of thing to get people like slightly tilted or slightly off foot.
Like, I really do think that it's so cool that at the midseason invitational there was like Jace and Dexter were both there. Like, like these kids are killers, like actual killers. And like we spent most of Monday just hanging out with Dexter and just like eating and hanging out and just talking about Magic, and like his thought process is just so different than like other people's. Like we had a really like challenging conversation, because like Logan is like so against green as a color, like at all times, right? And we're like there's nothing that you would play in green and blue farm. Like there's not a single card that you would play. And he's like, I don't think so. And I was like, that's just objectively false. Like that's not true, right? Like, there's no way you wouldn't play colorless Spirit Guide in farm.
Yeah, of course not.
And he's like, no, I wouldn't. And me and Dexter are like, you're just wrong, dude.
It doesn't pitch the force of will.
Like, that's no way, bro. Like, and that is what that card would be, right? Is colorless Spirit Guide in that deck. But like, even like playing Noxious Survival or like Birds of Paradise in farm, I think is like objectively something that they would do if they had access to it. But it's like interesting conversations with some of these kids, right? Like, and Dexter being so good on Ragsai is terrifying. He's so good. And like, if you ever get to look at a Dexter puzzle on eldrazi.dev, like, good luck solving that thing.
Yeah, take ibuprofen beforehand.
Yeah, you'll need to take some Adderall, maybe a bump or two, and good luck. Because, like, dude, the last, like, puzzle that he made.
It was crazy, dude.
I don't think only Jace solved it, which, shocker.
Waffle's still working on it.
Waffle was working on it for, like, 4 days before I think he gave up.
It's crazy. I spent 2 full days... Okay, my boss doesn't listen to these. I spent 2 full days at work.
on the Ragsai puzzle?
Yeah. If you see the line, you also probably have like seen God. So like write that book, publish it, and then come back and tell us how to solve it. Yeah.
They gave me like a hint after they told me Jay solved it, and they're like, this chud made a line where you put a card on top and then don't draw it. And I was like, huh? like what are you talking about?
That's crazy.
But yeah.
That's so wild.
I love it. But yeah, I agree. I think that like if we can just foster new talent into this format, like it only gets better, right?
Yeah. Like CDH is getting big enough, fast enough that we don't have enough yaws, we don't have enough max Ps.
Agreed.
And like posts like Logan made are the rungs on the ladder that people climb into the way of being like emotionally safe adults that people can be around. And we're all like works in progress, but like CEH needs like old heads, it needs like gatekeepers, it needs people who can protect the community while also holding their arms bigger and wider than like anyone else. And we need those people yesterday. And so yeah, like I said, regardless of what you think about like Logan or Jason, whether you play their lists or follow them on Twitter, I think this is an important thing to like have an opinion about. And if you disagree with it, I think it is important to find another like road, because we need emotionally mature adults in our format to help steward the communities that allow tournaments to happen.
Also, another shout out, someone was wearing our merch.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's so sick.
Not now, kitten. Daddy's getting silence.
I don't have anything else to say. Like, I think that this is like an overwhelmingly positive weekend, even though two people like in our team are very disappointed in themselves. We still had a good and fun weekend, and they're just gonna keep their chin up and grind for the actual invitational and do it again. These games, and this is something that I was trying to talk to Logan and Jason about in the airport on the way home, was like we have to compare ourselves to our peers, right? And like you have to look at some of these players that also scrubbed out in this event, like Waffle, which people consider definitely the number one player in our format, right?
Yep.
And like he scrubbed out, like he didn't get a win. If that's like, these are the people that we should be comparing ourselves to, and like I would not be so disappointed in yourself, right? Of like these are the games that happened, or these are the people that we were at that tournament with. Like Jordan Drake, scrubbed out, considered very good player, right? Like very, very good players did not convert this event. And I
mean, again, this is the best players were all playing together in this go around, right? Like this was the hand selected, the smallest of the best people that have performed in tournaments recently.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, I got to meet Corbin as well. I really liked playing Corbin. The first sentence that he said to me, "Do I look homeless enough to be a Magic player?" And I just started laughing because he was in our stream game, and so I really liked our interactions with Corbin.
He's a really cool guy.
Sam Black was there. Jordan Drake, Matt Hayes played well. Like, we all consider Matt Hayes a good player, right? And like, I don't even think I think he got 1 point or 2 points of the tournament, right? Like, these are really good players that we are accepting as like peers, and like it's fine, right? Like, obviously it's disappointing, but it's okay.
If you want to be a good CDH player long term, you have to be good at winning and you have to be good at losing.
Agreed.
So again, right, like a 35% win rate is a godly win rate.
Yeah,
right? Like that is a very good win rate. Which means you're losing 65% of the time.
But also, I also don't think we necessarily always talk about it in that way. You know, like for instance, like on the other hand, if we like elo check people before we take their opinions seriously, you know, that kind of stuff. But I think those are all ways where, like, I would encourage us as, like, people who all want this format to succeed to find ways that we can together take the next step, either having, like, healthier conversations, being healthier people, or, you know, like, in a positive way, like action items of, like, I would like to do this with you, or it'd be very cool to see you do, like, this type of thing. I think is more conversations that we can have to kind of improve the overall, not just, like, visibility of the format, but like I said, we need people who like enjoy CDH, are like all around like solid people, and we need them to be around for like 30 years. There's another
thing that I didn't really talk about this weekend, but in the top 4 of the Redemption event, Bad Dog Necroed, right? Like Necroed and just like couldn't find a line, which is super unfortunate because it's like Mardu, right? Like, and the Mardu Necro pile is like not that great. You need to find your double turn spell, or like your Final Fortune, or you lose the game. But it got into a really, really crazy spot where he had like 3 life, and he cast a Bolus's Citadel so that he could sacrifice his Necropotence to keep drawing cards.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, to like get back in the game, and then put together I saw his post Necro hand. I was like, oh, you have no shot of winning this game, right? But like he like played Esper Sentinel, played Smothering Tithe, used Citadel, sacked Necropotence, and drew a few cards, and then put together an insane push where we were like, oh, like I did not think you could do this. Tim's like, you saw his hand, right? And I was like, none of this was in there. None of it was in there. And we got to the point where like we ended up being able to stop Bad Dog, right? And Tim put a High Fae Trickster on the stack at the very end, and this is where Bad Dog's like, I can't beat a High Fae. Like Tim has a ton of cards in hand, like we can't do it, right? But
Sure.
Deck Driver had a Strix Serenade in his hand, and he's like, I'm supposed to Strix Serenade here. But if that's the case, then we definitely lose to Bad Dog because he's winning the stack right now. And Bad Dog's like, hey, like I told you I couldn't win through a High Fae Trickster, because he had cast an Emergent Zone, and he's like, you need to counter this High Fae Trickster so Tim doesn't win the game. And what I'm gonna do to you guys is I'm gonna cast an Imperial Seal and kill myself so you guys can continue playing the game.
Oh fuck, that's awesome.
And it was like, oh, that's insane.
That's a
and
hell
then
of
like,
a play.
you know, Tim made like a deal of like, okay, I'm just gonna kill Austin, and then I will let a single spell of yours resolve before we like play the game, right? And I was like, I hope Deck Driver has a fucking Grand Abolisher, and it was a Voice of Victory, which
Yeah,
felt
of
a
course.
little bit worse. But I even told him, I was like, dude, you're just gonna go to Warad, like it's fine. And me and him talked after the game, and I was like, actually, the answer is supposed to be Strix Serenade, the High Fae Trickster, and make the deal with me because my deck is so hard to play on top of like a Voice of Victory at all.
That's so intriguing.
But it was such a fun game. There was some very interesting politics that happened between Bad Dog and Tim, so it was very, very fun.
Bad Dog, if you're listening, jump in the comments. I want to know how many times you've made that deal. It's not every day you get to see the immovable object be like, okay, just this time.
Yeah. And like
That's so intriguing.
I do
That's
think
so
that there
intriguing.
was a little bit that played like he had a flight to catch, and so like he did have to leave, but he knew that the game was like over at this point if Tim
Yeah.
resolves the High Fae. So he's
Sure.
just like, I'm gonna oust myself out of the game. Like, good luck, right?
Yeah, and this is a tournament game. You said this was top 4. Right?
This is our top 4 game, and I thought it was just so cool, right?
That's so yeah. I want to. That's so interesting. I'm gonna be thinking about that for like the next like 48 hours. Yeah. So if anyone listening, Bad Dog, if you're listening, or if someone listening knows Bad Dog, tell him Eric. He'll know who it is. Tell him either in the comments or he can post on addons.gg. I think that's it. Jax, any Austin asked if there were any closing thoughts, and then me and him talked for another like 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, sorry.
all good.
Sorry, I just like remembered seeing the picture of Bad Dog, and I was like, yeah, this also happened. Like, it's so cool.
Do you have any closing thoughts, Jax?
Nope, no big ones. I think we about all covered it there.
Heck yeah! All right, that's a wrap.
Yeah, have fun.
Hey guys, have a good
Thanks,
one,
guys.
everyone.
See y'all next week.